Yo, what's up guys? So in today's video, I'm going to be going over how to solo queue in ranked arenas for season 14. Now, I feel like there are a lot of issues with solo queue, like there's getting bad teammates, facing against a 3-stack pred squad when you're only diamond, etc, etc. There's obviously a lot of problems with that, and currently I am the number 5 pred on Xbox, so I feel like I do have enough gun skill, a lot of experience solo queuing to be able to give out these tips and tricks. So help you, my tips and tricks could help your gameplay out. But yeah, big announcement, I will start to stream on Twitch, so if you guys could follow my Twitch in the comments section or the description section below, that would mean the world to me. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy these videos. We're almost at 700 subs, which is crazy to me. I want to thank y'all for the amount of support you've been giving me recently, and yeah, let's see if we can get 700 subs by the end of the month, end of the week. But yeah, and I guess I'll see you on the video. See ya. Alright, so now I'm going to be going over the matchmaking / point system so that you guys can understand why you're getting the points that you're gaining and how you can improve the amount of points that you are gaining through understanding the point system. Alright, so the amount of points you gain is determined by two things. One is going to be your MMR, which is a hidden rating that shows how good you are as a player, and number 2 is your previous rank. So let's get into more detail about your MMR. So because MMR is a hidden rating, right, the game is not going to show. You can't see your MMR in your stats area, you can't see it in any area, but you will be able to understand your MMR through your win rate and your win streak. So the higher MMR you have, the worse teammates you're going to get when you're solo queuing, or most of the time you are, because the game is going to want to automatically balance the skill gap between you and the enemy. So let's give you an example. Alright, so let's give you an example, alright? So let's say you're a Masters player with a decent MMR, like a 60% win rate, which is definitely not bad, which means that you're winning more than one game every 2 games. So you will most likely get 2 gold / platinum teammates, with the enemy being a 3-stack diamond team, for example, right? Or even 2 diamonds and a Masters. This is mainly because the game wants to balance out the teams, but this unfortunately doesn't work at all because one good Masters player doesn't account for 2 bad players. And at the end of the game, it is a team game. You can't have 1 Masters player and 2 Platinums and thinking that will balance out against a 3-stack Diamond squad, which is already coordinated. They have comms, you know, your duo Platinum teammates might not even have a mic, etc, etc, you know? 1 Masters player or 1 good player can account for 2 bad players. And that's why the matchmaking system, the matchmaking system is flawed. That is why a lot of the time when you are a good player with a high MMR, you're going to get bad teammates because the game wants to automatically balance out the teams. And this is good on paper. When you look at it on paper, it seems like it's balanced because you have 1 Masters player covering for 2 bad players. But no, it just simply is not right because it's hard to just carry your entire team when the other team is fully coordinated. If you have a high MMR like a 70 to 90% win rate, you will always / most likely lose -30s if you are 3-stack. Because a 70 / 90% win rate is a very, very high MMR. And when you lose against people with a average MMR or even a low MMR, you're gonna gain more points. So you might think, oh, well, having a high win rate is a disadvantage. Well, no. Having a high win rate means that you're winning more games than a normal person would gain in 1 session. Let's say you play 10 games, right? If you have a 90% win rate, that means you're winning 9 out of 10 games. But that 1 game that you lose, you're going to be losing a lot of points, like -30s. Unlike someone with a 50% win rate that might only win 5 out of 10 games, but if they have a low win rate and lose against people with other low win rates, then they're only going to lose -12s. And that's why having a low win rate is kind of a good thing in a way, but also kind of a bad thing. And this is why a lot of people do this thing called diamond boosting. And what diamond boosting means is that, well, you get your friend to hop on an ult account or hop on another account to make your MMR really bad on that account, right? On your ult account, your friend's gonna make the MMR really bad, which means basically just losing a lot of games in a row, having a really low average damage, really low KD, and just, you know, making your win rate like a 10%, 20% win rate. So when you do face against enemies with medium win rates or high win rates, if you beat against those people with high win rates, you're going to get a lot of points because the game is going to be like, oh, you're a team with 1 person having a very low MMR, like 20% win rate, and you won against a team with a very high MMR. So the game should automatically be like, oh, wow, you beat a really good team when you're not even that, you know, when you're not even that highly skilled. Wow, we should gift them with a lot of points. And that's why a lot of people diamond boost, and a lot of people with low MMR is going to gain a lot of points when they beat a team with high MMR. Yeah, so it's basically like bronze killing a pred. You'll obviously be rewarded more points than a bronze killing a bronze, because a bronze killing a pred is a good thing, but you're basically tricking the point system and tricking the game into thinking that you're a bad player when you're not. And that's why a lot of people do this thing called diamond boosting, which if you guys do want points, I definitely recommend that you do this, because this is a good way to gain a lot of points. Just tell your friend to hop on a bad account, and I would recommend, if you're, for example, Predator or Masters, you hop on a diamond account, or your friend hops on a diamond account with a low win rate. If you're diamond, make your friend hop on a plat account with low win rate, and the game will think, oh, this guy's only plat and he has a bad win rate and he won against a pred, so he should gain more points. Alright, so now I'll be talking about your previous rank and how that also has a huge part in how many points you gain. So your previous rank has a huge part in how many points you gain, because the game will try to make the points you gain smaller and smaller the closer you get to your previous rank. This is the reason why placement matches don't matter at all. You can lose all your placements and still be the same rank if you won all your placements. So let's say if you finished Diamond 4 last split, then you will probably be Gold 4 or placed something close to that. Now you'll be gaining 108 and big points all throughout Gold 1, and you might slowly lose the amount of points you gain down to the 80s and 70s and 60s the closer you get to Diamond 4, because that was your previous rank. And once you get to Diamond 4, it might be in the 20s/30s. Now this is why every split slash season, you should work hard to get to that next rank, or even that next tier, to improve your rank from the placement matches in the first place. And your placements only matter if it's your first time playing ranked arena and you've never touched your placements. That is the only time it actually matters. So try to get to your next tier, next rank, because that's going to help you out when you do your next placement matches. Alright, so the next part is going to be to use the meta legends and meta guns, and to try to use as aggressive characters as you can when you're solo queuing. So the reason why you want to play aggressive characters is to get better angles, to do more damage, to put more pressure on the enemy. This is basically going to be the most important thing in ranked arena, to be doing the most damage in your team, to be applying more pressure to drain the enemy's heals. So some examples are going to be Pathfinder, Octane, and Horizon are all great legends to play aggressively. However, you need to match your playstyle with your teammates, right? So if you're you might want to play aggressive, but your teammates might want to take it slow and use snipers, use marksman weapons, and to play back and slow. Then you have to adjust and play back as well, because that's why to be a good solo queue player, you need to be able to be flexible. You need to be flexible and adaptable with your team, so that if your teammates want to play back, you need to play back. If your teammates want to play really, really aggressive, you need to play really, really aggressive with them. And that's why I recommend using aggressive characters, so that you can, help your teammates out and doing more damage, or help your teammates out when you're trying to play aggressive with them, because that's going to be your main goal, just to do the most damage. The one really, really most important tip is to get angles and to play aggressive, but always to play your life. To play to stay alive. If you stay alive, your team will do so much better. If you're the first one down, then that's really, really not good, because most likely you're going to be the best player on your team, and if the best player on your team does get down, it's going to be a 2v3. It's just going to be hard. No matter how much damage you do, you need to stay alive. Sadly, you're going to have to use these meta guns like the Mozam or the Devo, or whatever you need to do to keep you and your team alive. And sadly, the truth is, you do have to carry your team, and that's why you should also play on your best maps, because if you are playing bad on a certain map, then it's pointless. You need to be playing the best you can. You need to be carrying your teammates. You need to be having the mindset that, okay, I need to do 4,000 damage this game, or else I'm not going to win the game. That's how much you need to do to carry your team, to get the win, and to just be doing the most damage. And that's why you should also practice the maps that you're bad at in pubs. Only play the maps that you are good at, and try to practice the maps that you are bad at in pubs, in practice matches. Just try to practice, and try to become better at every single map, so that no matter map it is, you can play really, really well, get the best angles, play the best head glitches, which is also going to be the next tip. Being able to play head glitches. Now, there are a lot of head glitch spots that you can play, and I'll be making a video on the best head glitch spots, but yeah, there's always going to be head glitch spots on any map. Just to give an example, the bin. So if you are a tall character like Pathfinder, Gibby, or Revenant, you're going to be able to play the bin, and if you basically just sit beside the bin, you're going to be playing a head glitch, and you're going to be able to have a really good angle on the enemies, while the enemy is not going to be able to see you at all, because it's going to be such a tiny hitbox to hit you, because only your head is going to be peeking while their entire body is peeking. and that's why using head glitch spots are really important. Understanding where to play is really important too, because if you are playing in a bad spot, you can easily grapple out, stim out, or Q out if you are playing any of those aggressive characters, and that's why understanding where you are, understanding where your teammates are, right? Because you might want to get an aggressive angle by your teammates if they are playing back, if they are just really far away from you, they're not going to be able to cover you, and that's why you need to also understand how your teammates play, where your teammates play as well. Buying frags. Now, frags are probably the most underrated thing in ranked arenas, and you can use them to outplay your enemies so well. A great map to use frags in is probably going to be Party Crasher or Phase Runner. That's a really good map to use nades in, really strong map to use nades in. And if you are not good at using frag nades, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's called air nading. So buy frags, throw them in the air, and when they land, they hit the opponent for 100. Being able to understand where and what angle to throw it in order to hit your enemies for 100 is going to be really important too. So be able to learn how to air nade in the firing range in other ways so that you can really get better, because this can be a game changer. You know, you don't even have to do damage. It's 75 crafting per nade, which is really cheap, and it can do so much damage. So I really do recommend buying nades if you don't buy nades already. The main reason why I don't recommend you playing Lifeline or Newcastle or Bloodhound or like those, you know, support characters when you're solo queuing is because it's hard to carry your team with those characters, right? Because let's say you're playing Lifeline, right? Your teammates are gonna be the one getting knocked first because they probably won't know how to play. They won't know how to, you know, take those angles because you're probably the best player on the team. So playing Lifeline Newcastle is basically useless because it's hard to play aggressive with those legends, you know? How can you go to the bin side when your kit is not anything like movement? You don't have any movement abilities at all. It's gonna be so difficult to play angles and stuff. That's why it's just so difficult to play a support character, and that's why I do not recommend playing those characters. Now, I do highly recommend getting the crafting materials wherever you can. Even on maps like Party Crasher where there's the middle crafting metals, I do recommend that you do get those crafting metals because they can help you get the Mozam hammer point early on. And if you can get it even in like the 3rd, 4th round, that's going to be really good. It's going to be able to apply a lot of damage, and hammer points are one of the best guns right now with the Devo, so you can get the Devo, try to do it. The way I like to play is I like to, you know, get a Volt or like a blue Mozam the first round and try to slowly build up to a purple Mozam. Once I can get a purple Mozam, I can maybe switch to the R301. Once I can get the R301, I switch to the Devo, and that's basically what you want to do. The end goal is to try to use the Devo because the Devo is the best gun in the game right now. It's the best and most easiest gun I think to use. If you can control the recoil, and the recoil is actually not that hard. If you crouch when using the Devo, it actually helps with the recoil control. So I do recommend that you do that. But yeah, buying the Devo as early as you can is going to be very important and can be a life changer when you're solo queuing. Another tip is to use pinging or use your mic if you have one. So when you're solo queuing, I definitely recommend you use a mic because it's hard to communicate a lot of things when you are pinging. Like, it's hard to tell your teammates, okay, let's all push right when you don't even have a mic. It's hard to just like spam ping right and like try to make your teammates understand you. It's way easier with a mic. If your teammates don't have a mic, tell them to maybe get out the game chat, or get out the party chats so they can talk to you. That's one important thing. But if you don't have a mic, pinging can also work. Like, for example, spam pinging if the enemy is low, or using those pings like I'm attacking here, I'm defending here, I'm going here, etc. That's all going to be really important. Just like overall communication with your randoms is going to be good, because honestly I think that every single random has the capability to do well. It's just that if you can create those circumstances and that environment so that they can play well, because a lot of the times, you know, you get angry at your teammates, and that's one thing that I really don't recommend that you do. Don't get angry at your randoms after you lose 1 or 2 rounds, because anything can happen. I've had games where I've lost the first 2 rounds and came back 4-2, and I thought that my teammates were absolutely terrible, but they actually were pretty good once they were able to adapt and able to, you know, play well, because I was able to able to create those environment and create that circumstance. For example, like beaming one and then making the enemy push off of it, or making my teammates push off of it, etc. All that is going to be really good. There's obviously a lot of benefits to solo queuing too. For example, if both your teammates are like plat or gold and you're like masters and you face against a really good squad, and if you do beat that really good squad, you're going to be able to gain a lot of points. Like normally I usually gain 12, but if I'm solo queuing against a good team, I can gain big points like 30, 40 points, which is really big for me. It might not be big for you because you guys are like, for example, diamond and gaining like 30, 40 points average, but for me, I'm only gaining 12 points a game, like, right? So if I gain 40 points, that's 4 games worth, and especially in pred lobbies, games do get long, so that can save me a lot of time. So yeah, there are those benefits. And even when you're solo queuing, it's really easy to find a team through solo queue. Let's say you meet some good players when you're solo queuing, and you can say, let's team up, and you guys can invite them to your party, and you guys can play and, you know, play with them in the future too. So that's a few benefits of solo queuing as well. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to press that like button and subscribe. I do put a lot of effort in my videos, so if you guys could like and sub, that would mean the world to me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and see ya.